Thank you. Please sit, gentlemen. Willson, Zaky, thanks so much for being here this early in the morning, having like a lot of familiar faces, excited faces, maybe also curious faces, because we will have some, I can say, interesting discussion about what happened lately with the startup ecosystem, and also like, what is the future after this, right? What will be happening after this? Oh, this is our guest star also, Pa Edwin. Pa Edwin, right on stage. Yeah. Now, I want to start the conversation from Mas Zaky first, because I know Mas Zaky started startups in the heyday of the booming of the startup days, like 15 years ago, in a way, maybe, around, right? And then you exited Bukalapak, and then you becoming an investor. Please tell me your journey a little bit, Mas Zaky, from that point of time until you becoming investor, and what do you see now? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I started Bukalapak 2010, right after graduate from ITB, and then it was amazing journey, I can say, because like I always make an analogy like it's like a tropical garden. In my era, in the first 10 years of Bukalapak, it's so many sun and then rainfall, and the gardener, the investor bring so many fertilizer. So a lot of company growing, and it was amazing. I learned a lot from that experience, growing company from zero to unicorn and then IPO. So I think that's short of my journey.
Do you see like fundamental difference when you were a founder and then you're becoming an investor, especially looking at the changes of the startups now?
Yeah, it's very different mindset, because being founders, you need to focus on one thing. And right now, being investor, you cannot focus on one thing, on many things. And seeing big picture is totally different. But sometimes I miss being founder, meeting many people,
Okay.
having a lot of team, feel powerful. But no, investor is not that powerful, because we only own minority, we only give advice. Sometimes founder don't follow our advice, it's okay. We have to be, sabar.
Be patient. Willson is taking notes when you say you want to go back as a founder. He will start investing at the first try. Willson, you are an OG in investment scene in ID. And from your point of view, what is happening actually, especially currently with a lot of like cases that being unfolded, a lot of like investment cases that's being talked about, and right now a lot of investors being quite wary. They are also a bit worried about what will be the future, a bit cautious. And do you see this as a healthy reset that we need to have, or this is very normal, or this is practically very unprecedented? What do you think?
So I think we started in 2009, and then I think Zaky was started in 2010, but we already invested in Tokopedia at that time. That's why we cannot invest in competing business. But I think it is very important for everyone here in this room to understand the market cycle. From 2009 until March 2022, that was the cycle where interest rate is pretty low. It's never been above 3%. We are talking about US interest rate. Why this matter into our part of the world? Because risk capital. When interest rate is low, the money will flow to country like emerging market like us to invest in risk capital in order for them to get a better return. So during that period, the way we operate business slightly different compared to where we are today. That is the market condition. But that is nothing to do with us as a builder, as a founders, to keep building our company. What happened in Indonesia recently is a bit different, simply because there is series of bad news keep coming, fraud after fraud after fraud after fraud, non-stop, you know. It seems like every week there is a consistent bad news. I still remember it was started from, I think, December 2024 when the news was break. But does it mean that no one doing the right thing in this country? So I disagree the statement that sometimes some of the media or some of the people that critique us saying that Indonesia is uninvestable because there is a lot of founders that doing fraud. No. In reality, you see in this room, there's so many people still doing the right things. So it is unfair to actually to put a blanket into Indonesian founder or Southeast Asia founder and say that there's a lot of fraud going on. There is bad apple, there is good apple. Yep. But what we need to do right now is consistent building and tell everyone that we are doing and we are creating value, we build product, and talk about the good news. Because darkness is the absence of light. It is very important for us not only focus on the good, bad news, but also focus on what we have built and how actually the ecosystem has been impacted people's life.
I want to give a round of applause for the statement because that's very important. Right now, if we are only focusing on the bad news, then right, it's only keep making our confidence lower than what it actually is. But we have to keep also giving good news and put spotlight to the good actors.
It is actually responsibility of Tech
for
Asia
media,
as well.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is our responsibility, Pak. Pak Edwin, you are the government here, for sure. And from your perspective, in terms of systemic or structural, I know that startup ecosystem is quite new. We cannot really govern everything to the dot, right? We have to also let the innovation to grow, to give them sufficient room to grow and to fail, right? We cannot really like squeeze them. But what do you think the right role for government, especially ComDG here, to give them right, basically ecosystem to grow healthy?
Yes, first I'd like to thank you for such a grand event. I was not supposed to be here, supposed to be my vice ministers. but I don't, well, but since it's my turn right now, let me say that by this. Is the role of the government is to create a conducive environment for all businesses to grow. Okay? It's not just ComDG. It's also the roles of Ministry of Finance, Ministry of any other ministry that is in charge of the economic development. So first, you need to have a conducive environment for the businesses to grow. It's mandated in our constitution, by the way. Mensejahterakan kehidupan rakyat, to prosper, to create prosperity for the people. So, and that's the main goal. So in regards to that's why I'm very glad with this initiative because, as Willson said, that the bad news keep coming. That's why you have to, we have to create a more positive view for the investors and also the more optimistic or motivations of the startups to keep innovating, to keep trying, creating solutions for the betterment of the nations. So, several initiatives we've been discussing a lot. I learned a lot from one of my directors, who is also an actor, Sony. He's an actor. So, about how we create a conducive environment of these industries. We know that we have to learn from the data. You know, most of the failures in business ecosystem, most of the failures of the business is because of the founders. Number one, this is from the survey. Number one, the founders, they are innovative, but they don't have really managerial skills. They don't really know how to govern the company. So that's the number one. Number two is because of the product. The products they innovate, they don't really fit with the market. Number three is because of the fail during the innovation. And number four is the failures is when they try to assemble a team. They've been able to produce a product fit to market, but when they were trying to scale up, they cannot assemble a good team and makes the company fail. That's why we need how to create a conducive environment for the businesses to grow. If we just we give relaxation and regulations and everything, we give trainings, I don't think that will be enough. We need to orchestrate the ecosystem. We need to pair them, like Willson here, Zaky here, has already experienced. They both are needed to give guidance to their juniors. You know, we need collaboration here between private, publics, and civil society. Government can, what the government can do is to create policies and probably allocate some budgets, but eventually everything has to be done collaboratively. That's why I think I invited Pak Willson and Zaky. So why don't we work together to create more conducive environment for the businesses to grow, to create a better ecosystem for the startup, just like Bukalapak had in 10 years ago. Why we can only have like a few Bukalapak in Indonesia? If we should have more. 10 years ago, when Zaky started the Bukalapak, the GMV of the e-commerce is zero. Last year was 90 billion, and expected to grow like 150 billion. Our GDP is now 1.4 trillion, and the GMV of the e-commerce is 90 billion. It's approximately 8% of our GDP. If our GDP in 2030 is about 1.7, 1.8 trillion, our GMV should be what? At least 200, right? So we have a lot of market, we have a lot of opportunity. It's all up to us whether we work together or we work just, let it be bad news, let it be bad news. Or we work together and solve all the problems and make it happen for the betterment of the nations. Thank you.
Thank you. Encouraging signs from the government. Thank you, Pa. Now, let's talk a bit from government to governance. Mas Zaky, in your early days, I kind of understand 15 years ago, you basically don't have nothing to lose, right? You just go, when you fail, and then you start again, right? But right now, we have so many talks about good corporate governance. You have to be prudent in your financial statements. You have to be having a good path of profitability and all that, so that the investors will, have a say to finally invest in you. It is different, right? How do you see, maybe as a founder turned investor, founders should act in this new era of startups, Mas? You should lean more to the governance or just be aggressive?
Yeah, actually I have a slide. Can you show? Like only one slide.
Yeah.
I send the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make a point about what Willson mentioned and and then go to answering your question. Willson mentioned that this is the data, Willson. If you see the data, I divide the company of Indonesian startup to 3 boxes. The first box is the big company, Unicorn, GoTo, Tiket, Buka, Kredivo, Traveloka, Dana, Sandit, Bank Jago, Superbank, Ajaib. And the second box is, this is like mid-sized company. This is hundred millions, hundreds of millions to tens of millions company, and there are many actually, many. This is just a few of them. Fore, Ruang Guru, Sosiola, a lot of them is your portfolio. Yeah, and if we combine these two, actually the valuation, the value that they created is 26 billion, 27 billion. And the media, the people only focus on the third box, the failed company, a fishery, Tiny Hub, Zenius, Investory, but actually it's only no more than 5%. This is a fact, actually. This is a fact. We have to see, nowadays people like forgot that we use Gojek every day, GoPay, Dana, what else? Traveloka, Tiket, Kita Bisa, Stockbit, Bibit. This is created by Indonesian founder, by the way. This is amazing. This is a trend that in my era, in 2010, when I start, even VC is something that there is no VC. There was no VC in 2010. No founders, very few, and right now we have so many, and they are amazing. I really hope they can success. And then teach next generation, invest like me. I hope there is like 1,000 of me investing in many startup and Indonesia becoming a startup nations. And answering your question, it depends on the stage. If you are early stage, I don't think we don't need the governance a lot. Maybe below 10 million valuation. But if you are, and this is private, by the way, this is private company. The government, I don't think the government don't need to govern a lot because, this is private. But what government can do, I think to, put the water, cheering them up, create positive news. That's very important for me. So I think I have a different view regarding the governance. I better let them grow. This is like a child. So if you govern child a lot, they will become not creative, right? Of course, if you are teenager, it's more governed, right? You are teenager. You need to apply OGK. You need to apply this rule, this rule. Maybe for unicorn or hundreds million company in the middle, maybe you can look, but there are thousands of early stage startup that I don't think they need to be governed. That's all.
Pak Willson, from your perspective as an investor, you invested a lot in early stage companies, Pak. And with the recent scandals, so to speak, right? You know, founders usually look up to other founders. Let's say in our early days, we look up to Zaky and Fajrin, we look up to Nadim, we look up to William, Tokopedia. Those are our role models. Those are the new founders' role models for them to, okay, I want to be like them, right? Because it's cool, because we can create impact. Now, the founders, the role models, basically gone, right? Only few left, like, thank you, Mazaki, still here, still very believing in our ecosystem, but a lot of them are basically nowhere to be found in a way. And how do you, from your perspective, how do you inject the positivity, confidence level for them that, no, you can still be successful, but maybe the path will be a bit different? Or do you see that those days are long gone, basically? Now we are moving to entirely different direction from your perspective, Pa. Thank you.
Actually, I don't quite understand your question, but probably I try to explain a bit from my perspective that there's nothing changed, frankly speaking. When someone starts a company, the first principle is about founders. And when you, to give you a bit of context, from 2009 until today, we have invested 300 companies. 80% are in Indonesia, 20% in the region. But it is always important that everybody knows that running a company is very hard. And it is okay to fail because most of the business will fail, especially the high-risk business like the tech sector. However, there are two types of failure. The first one is fail with integrity, and the other one is fail without integrity. Zaky presentation is pretty good, but I will just cut it into two sections. There is a section that people success and fail with integrity. There is a section that people fail or success without integrity. Those people that success without integrity is just a matter of time before we figure out what's going on with them. So the basic principle is still again back to the founder's character. That is the principle. In East Ventures, we focus a lot into the founders. Not the product, not the market. Because it is the founders and founding team that we build the product to address the market. When the market shifts, they will respond by change the product to address the market. So everything is go back to the founders. So founders' character is the most important criteria. It has been consistent, actually. In 2016, I wrote an article after 7 years established East Ventures. I wrote an article about what are the key traits that we look from a good founder. Number one is integrity. Now, 9 years, a decade later, it still remains the same, integrity. So nothing changed. When you say that some of those previous founders has been nowhere to be found, they are everywhere actually. They are everywhere and they are still building. It's just that the way they maybe articulate their new experience and business slightly different. It's not like Zaky that become investor.
They are afraid now, Wilson. They are afraid right now.
No. we can't say that. And then the first generation is not limited to the name that you mentioned. There are many names actually going on and they're still doing things.
Yeah, because I'm very curious and I really want to see the new Zakys, the new Nadims, the new founders. And from your perspective, from your pipeline, let's just say, do you see that happening like 5 years from now, let's say? Will we see the new Zakys, the new Nadims?
Yes, of course. We are the country with 280 million population. We will have a lot of good entrepreneurs. And then what important in this ecosystem is time being compressed. What does it mean? In the past, for a company to hit 100 million US revenue, it took about 7 years. Some of the new company, they could hit it within 4 years. Why? Because best practice has been established. Knowledge has been well distributed. There are a lot of mentors. There is a lot of coach. Investor also well educated, understand how to invest. Does it mean in this kind of like situation where there is a lot of good news, there's no investor? No. There is a lot of dry powder actually. People raise money a lot during the 2021, 2022 era. And now they just hold on for a while, waiting, but the money is there. So those people that build and able to articulate the value that they created in their business, they will get funded.
If the investor is as optimistic like this, you should be very optimistic too. So kudos to both of these gentlemen, very optimistic. Thank you. But you are the head of digital ecosystem, right? That's what you do, basically to build the best digital ecosystem. And one of the most important part in the ecosystem is talent, right? Which is the founders and also the talent. Yes. Thank you, Ibu, for coming. Give round of applause to Bu Mutia. Very amazing keynote. Thank you, Ibu. Bu Mutia will head to Connection Hub. But yeah, talking about talent. And talent is not only about access to education, but also access to mentors, access to network, access to collaboration with other parties. What will you do in your department, Pa, to improve the generation of talents, especially in the tech industry?
Yeah. I want to drink, but I want to speak. See, actually I wanted to drink, but then he asked me questions, so I speak to my cup of water. Okay. First of all, I like to agree with the statement that talents are not just for those who are educated, Talents are not just those who are young. Talents are talents that they don't have sex and talents. They can be both either woman or man. Talents they don't have colors. Talents don't have social status. Everybody can be talents. That's the first thing that you need to be aware of. That's why Wilson was talking about the population of Indonesia, the bonus, the demographic bonus. We can consider that if you have like 280 million people in Indonesia, so we have like 280 million talents actually. If you limit the talents on only the youngs, the women, or those who are live with privilege, that is not the concept. Now, how do we manifest this concept? First, talents is like a cocoon. They need to become a butterfly. How we grow them, how we nurture them, how we reach them. That's why we should have an initiative. If you say like we should have a science techno park, a big building with so many equipment, and that won't reach the talents of 280 million people in Indonesia with 17,000 islands, 3,000 inhabited islands from Sabang to Merauke. We need to spread out our wings to reach all of them. That's why we have the initiative, we call it Garuda Spark. Yeah. Innovation. It's not a building, it's not a science techno park that is located in one area where we invite everybody to come. Rather than we create a system that is nationally coordinated, locally adapted, we collaborate with locals, we spread out our wings. It's like the philosophy is like how we reached out to them is training center is not a building, it's a system with people. That's why we need a collaboration with the civil society and then also with industry players. I think that's the only one that we can do right now. Not the only one. That's one thing that we do right now to reach out. We have already established one in Jakarta. We cooperate with Paragon and several startups. In Bandung, we cooperate with Block 71. In Medan, with one of your member, Otten and Fore, and also Clapham. And Bandung also with Pak Zaky. Thank you. Oh, both are the supporters of our initiative. So we are planning to have more, not only in the big cities in Indonesia, but also the second and the third tier cities. It takes a lot more than just creating a building for trainings and everything for the talents to. But we need to spread our wings. We need to send people to every corners of the countries, and we also prepared the launching pad and landing pad here. So I think that we do all we can to nurture our talents, and talents are not just those who are young, those who are rich. Everybody can be a talent for us. So that's why I need a collaboration with all the founders, seniors, and also with civil society in order to nurture and to grow our talents.
Thank you, Pak. Wilson, you said that crisis or no crisis, entrepreneurship persists, right? I quoted somewhere. And as an investor, looking ahead, what is your expectation for the next generation of founders or entrepreneurs? Thank you.
learning over more than a decade, the most important things that the founders must aware is cycle. So they have to understand two cycle, I think the important one. The first one is financial cycle. When, unfortunately, US still pretty dominant as the center of the capital. When the interest rate is high, the capital inflow to the emerging country will be less. So understand that. The second one will be the technology cycle. East Ventures was started in the era of mobile internet. We believe there's a new mobile internet tech cycle coming in a big way, hence we quickly captured that wave. So right now, I think there's another cycle actually emerged, which is the AI. We have to capture that wave as well. What does it mean? Does it mean everybody have to start doing foundational model, investing in data center and so on? No, not really. If you do the parallel compared to the mobile internet revolution, it's almost similar. During that time, many of the companies try to build device in Indonesia, where they are today. Don't do that, because our supply chain, our ecosystem don't really support that kind of like innovation. Focus on application, focus on market-driven innovation, but use those technology as a tools. I think there will be another wave coming, and you have to be in the game. You can't just plan and try to reimagine the world. No, you have to get your hand dirty, code, really build something, fail, do it again, fail again, chase the technology, understand every single release of the technology and how actually they're going to impact the solution that you use to address certain problem. I think that will be interesting. If you understand this, then the way you operate the business will be different. When the risk capital actually come in, inflow, make sure that you can capitalize it and try to use that to educate the market and build certain product. When the capital actually going out, try to be more defensible. So understanding the cycle of the financial and technological wave, that will, I think, will benefit all the founders.
Achmad Zaky, with the rise of AI basically everywhere, and Willson already basically put that into a good pointers that we need to be very adaptive to the technology, right? So yeah, same question. What do you expect for the next founders? In your era, mostly coding, right? Understanding product. Right now, with the use of AI, is there any shift of founders' mindset?
Yeah, the first one, I think there is a Silicon Valley wisdom say that pessimist always right. Pessimist always right, but the optimists make money. So the first, I really hope that you guys as a founders gonna be very optimistic about the future, because this is like self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are a pessimist, that will not happen. So the first one is optimist. Optimist of creating the future. Creating the future is like believing, dreaming. You have to dream really high. That's the first one. The second, if you look at China, one day I did small research collecting Chinese brand, top brand, Chinese top 50 brand and also US top 50 brand. If you look at the slight difference, the clear difference of these two, most of US brand is innovator. They are inventor. They can find, because US has a lot of PhD, they have so many capital that believing in the new story like OpenAI even doesn't exist. But in China, and I want to make an analogy, Indonesia is like China. We cannot make something that really new, but I think we can do, it's called sustaining innovation. Okay. We can fix the things that the US or the inventor created. For example, like OpenAI, regarding to AI, OpenAI will create will be many open source model that available, and it's free. You can use it. Remember, this is Android, then Samsung did something with Android and then create phone. or Huawei create, there is an opportunity to doing that right now. Indonesian founders need to do fine-tuning with the open source model, and then do something about it. Create a small robot, and it's easy actually. It's application. It's like creating Bukalapak. Creating Bukalapak is not something new. It's something that you can create it. It's a matter of timing and capital, of course, and execution. So this second thing, sustaining innovation, is, I think, can be the pathway for Indonesian founders to create a large company in Indonesia using AI. It can be AI, it can be consumer, it can be fintech. So it's not new. You can see something that already in the US and then adapt it to Indonesian market and create something that Indonesian market or Southeast Asian market needed. That's it. Application is not inventing new things.
That's also like, I have to chime in. One investor said to me that that's the beauty of living in Indonesia, because Indonesia has so many problems. That means so many opportunities, right? And there will be so many applications and use cases that can be built on top of our problems, like daily problems. So I think we can focus on that. Thank you. That's a very good point, Mas Zaky. Pak Edwin, to close the session today, how can you like really imagine or envision what's going to happen, like, let's say 3 to 5 years from now, with you at the center of the ecosystem as the regulator per se, as the one that facilitates the collaboration, as you say? How can you envision the next 3 to 5 years in the startup ecosystem here? Let's dream together.
So we need to analyze 4 things, right? One thing, the digitalization is something that we can't stop. Well, data is the new money, you know. Everything is data transfers. Number 2, if you want to compete globally, even locally, we must adopt the most advanced technologies. Creating solutions are something that is not, creating solutions is not something that is luxury now, right now. It has become basic necessity. Everybody tries to create solutions because in the future, so many challenges in the world of, you learn about Fuka, Bani, vulnerable and everything. So that's why innovations must be nurtured. Startup must grow. The challenges are still, with the people. That's why we must collaborate together, right, to create, to improve the capacity of our talents, to create more entrepreneurs, and to create more conducive environment for Indonesia to grow. The challenges for startup is not going to end soon. There will be still a lot of challenges. But I think we have to collaborate to overcome all the obstacles and challenges that will not be ceased in the futures, but instead they will be becoming more and more bigger. So finally, I always says everything every time I walk onto the stage. I'm urging everyone to work collaboratively. If you don't work collaboratively, you walk alone, and then everybody walks alone, and then how can we survive in this world of, vulnerable, uncertain, non-linear, and ambiguous. The world of lots of uncertainty. Thank you.
Round of applause for Pak Edwin. Anything to add, gentlemen? From Pak Edwin's point, the dream? No?
For me, yeah, be optimist. But
Be
also
optimist.
not just optimist, but realist. Optimist, realist. That's thing.
Listen.
We want to build a generational ecosystem, the ecosystem that lasts not only for our generation, but for more upcoming generation. And the only missing piece that we don't have right now is recycled capital. So those people that have built and invest in this ecosystem, I think it is very important as an investor to get the money back. And exit has been a problem, liquidity has been a problem. We are working hard to make sure that everybody get rewarded of their investment. So those are the job for the existing founders, existing investor of the startups. For the new founders, you just keep building. I think there's a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of new upcoming tech wave that you can leverage on. And we are in one of the largest, most populous region. Do you know that after India, China, and if we take account Africa, the next one is actually Southeast Asia. We are bigger than Europe, we are bigger than North America, we are bigger than South America. So we are on the right place right now. The time may seem it's not right, but don't care about those. Those is not within your control. Just keep building. Back to the first principle. Become an entrepreneur, adapt with integrity.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Very optimistic point of view. As our hashtag today, of course, we are trying to defy expectations, but just keep building, and that's what we are going to do. Thank you so much, gentlemen.